the United States of America, and the 47th president that now is Donald Trump, the president-elect, has already come out. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the stories that's coming in from the US with regards to the spectacular victory that we have seen and what Trump has called is now the golden era of America, as he had promised, will make America great again. Well, former President Donald Trump secured a historic second term in office in what is termed as a major comeback with his victory over Vice President Kamala Harris in a heated election. The Republicans' win follows one of the most contentious campaigns in modern US history and comes despite his recent criminal conviction and near miss in an assassination attempt. As of now, Trump has bagged 295 electoral votes and Kamala has bagged 225 electoral votes compared to Trump. Harris, who joined the race in July after President Joe Biden's withdrawal, took to social issues and spending on healthcare, trying to pitch it against Trump's divisive rhetoric and history of inflammatory statements. Despite Harris's efforts, Trump's hardline stances gained traction, culminating in key victories. Let me introduce you to our guest who's joining us in this broadcast, political strategist and analyst Arun Ayagiri, joining us live from New York. Mr. Ayagiri, a very good evening to you, very firstly. The last conversation we had was about how Donald Trump might, bring in an angle of election fraud if he has to concede defeat. But the scenario seems to have changed vastly within the last 48 hours. And today, here I stand and I have this question to you. Kamala Harris made a point, we were just listening to her speech, wherein she said that hard work is good work. But I think it was Trump who's yielded the results of smart work here. Would you agree?
Yeah. Hey, yes, you're right. It's so funny how 24 hours can bring such a change in not just what anchors are asking, but also how the world is perceiving
The whole
and
picture has
United
shifted
States.
now. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the whole needle has shifted, and that's true. And you're talking about smart work. I'll come to that word, the word work, but I probably watched that speech almost 4 times now, and I am still struggling to find a context for the word fight. She's I think in the first couple of sentences she used the word fight. I honestly didn't understand what the fight was for, and I think neither did the electorate, which is why they couldn't understand what she wanted, what she stood for. Aside from spitting venom on the opponent, which is fine, which is part of the game, but lack of clarity and not being effective in your debates, lack of a strong message, and lack of assertion was the key. Even battleground states. When she was Michigan, I think she was confused. She wanted to talk pro-Israel, but one time she did pro-Israel, and then the other time she did a little bit on pro-Palestine. So people in Michigan were also confused, just like her statement. So which is why I think they gave the verdict they did. And talking about work, well, in all fairness, I moderated a talk show, which I always do, and I interviewed a team from Kamala Harris's campaign team from New York. They were working hard, to be honest. They were in the process of sending people in buses from New York to Pennsylvania because they figured Pennsylvania is a key state. This is a few weeks ago, but 4 or 5 weeks ago. So they did work. I understand. But the problem is the work will yield output only if there is credibility and there's credentials in your candidate. Otherwise, you cannot just bank put all your eggs in the hatred basket for your opponent. Sure, the opponent, is facing trials. I don't remember. I think 34 felony
Yes.
convictions and 91 felony charges, things like that, right? And 2 impeachments. We get it, but that is not an excuse for lack of credentials on your part as a candidate, which is why people actually, I don't think everybody who voted for Trump, honestly, with all respect, voted out of love for Trump. Sure, he has a base which voted for Trump, but there is a certain section, I'm pretty sure, which did not vote for Trump because they love Trump, because they saw that they did not like Harris. And there's a difference. It will yield the same output. There's a difference, right? So that's what happened. If you see, there was a surge in black voters, right? For all the flack which Trump gets that he's anti-minority, anti-women, whatever. There was a surge in black voters. There was a surge, I think, a 13 or 14%
Right.
surge in Latino voters as well, which is why he won Florida. So he proved everybody wrong. So they were fearful that if you get a less capable commander in chief, I'm using the word commander in chief intentionally, not president, that the person, gender might have played a role. Sure, I agree. I agree. I mean, and I will take that, but not so much in this case. In her case, I think it was lack of credentials and lack of belief, and also they dropped Biden in the last minute, which the American people saw as disingenuous, right? Had Biden dropped earlier than he did, probably would have given a much bigger playground for Kamala Harris. So I think all of these, and of course, I kept saying every interview I gave in the past 3 days, and all the 9 interviews, I said two eyes, right? Two eyes: inflation, immigration. That's it.
Absolutely.
There's no F. There's no foreign policy this time. Inflation, immigration. That's exactly what hurt Kamala Harris, and the lack of clarity. I teach U.S. history. I tell my students, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how assertively you
Assertively.
say. The assertion that's important. They didn't see that, so you know, and 3.5%, Ashriya, that's a lot.
That's
Three point five
absolutely.
percent.
Quite a
Yeah,
margin.
it's a
Quite a margin,
lot of vote.
absolutely. I think it's also important to understand that this time it was Trump who's won with the popular vote as well. It's not just the Electoral College that
Yes.
sided him. That is something, that's why we are calling it a dramatic victory and a spectacular
Yep.
victory.
Yep.
I think that is something he himself did not expect. We could see him during his speech yesterday at Florida. That was not an expectation he himself had.
Yeah, exactly. I think he performed. Although the margins weren't that great, but still, a win is a win is a win, like they say. So he performed
Absolutely.
exceptionally well in the in the
Very
battleground
true.
states,
Very
right?
true.